Since my first story, Taz the Tard, was successful, I figured I should write another one. My school is full of tards, so I have more tales to tell. This one is about a tard I like to call E.T. He is illiterate and is unable to speak, so instead he goes moans like he's having an orgasm. I call him E.T. because he does this little wiggle thing with his finger. He walks with one leg, with the other dragging along behind him. He has been terrorizing my school for as long as I can remember. He sneaks up behind people and moans into their ears and usually touches you sexually with his E.T. finger. He seems to get a lot of enjoyment out of this, as he laughs whenever he makes someone cringe and squirm. He has an old lady wrangler, and I strongly believe that they are in a romantic relationship behind the scenes. E.T. be hitting up that gilf every Friday night. This leads me to something that I witnessed freshman year when E.T. was in my science class. E.T. stumbled into the classroom, as usual, but today was different. Today he was extra horny. He snuck up behind me and went in my ear with a smile on his face. Then he started to finger my ribcage. Had I retaliated, the wrangler would have yelled at me for making her secret husband cry. He did the same thing to everyone else in class. The class finally started when he was settled. It didn't take long for his lust to show again, though. He started moaning really fucking loud. I was right behind him, and I kid you not, he was fingering the tard wrangler's butthole. She smacked his hand out of the way and told him to stop it, but this only enraged him further. He moaned again and went for her butthole yet again. This time she took him out of the room so the teacher could continue the lecture. To this day, he still molests me whenever he sees me. Darian the Tard. Be me. 17-year-old senior, so last year. Go to rich-ass boarding school for high-functioning tards, Aspie's ADHD kids, maybe the occasional high-functioning downy. I'm an Aspie myself. Don't board because I live close by, and it would be retarded, no pun intended, for me to board there. In my environmental science class, with about 6 kids, school had under 150 kids and a very small class size of about 6 to 10 kids each. There's a full-on autist who's from Houston in said class, so he's not used to the wildlife, even though it's his 4th year here. His parents are rich Iranians, so he has all sorts of exotic plants at his house. Never went there, but he showed us pics. Anyhow, we're talking about biodiversity, and my hippie teacher, who I will call Mr. H, brought up the subject of ducks. Mr. H was actually a really cool guy. Loved rock and roll, nature, and literature. Only had the first two in common, but we liked each other due to everyone else either being a metalhead or an EDM/rap normie. Mr. H shows a picture of a duck on the screen. Darian, being the spaz/autist he is, asks,
"What is that on the screen?"
Entire class erupts in laughter. Kek.dll. Mr. H immediately facepalms and tells him what a duck is. endmylife.docs. The kid goes on to spazzing out for the rest of the class. Here's a mini-story about my friend Cole for extra keks. Be me. Be a 14-year-old weeb freshman. At graduation, which was mandatory for all students to attend. Notice my friend, Cole, and another guy yelling. Cole was a nice guy, he just had some serious anger issues. We both liked rock and roll, jazz, and electronica, so we became friends relatively quickly my freshman year. Too bad he graduated next year. Arguing over something during the speeches. Cole has obviously had enough of the other guy's shit. He just decks him in the face. Zawarudo.dll. What the fuck.wave. No joke, the kid had a broken nose. My face when I didn't see Cole the next year for a month. My face when it was worth it, just for the keks. Darian the Tard, Part 2, Attack of the Iranian. Junior year, be in cafeteria, 2 periods after politics class. It was actually called Perspectives, but whatever. Sitting with Darian, because he liked to insert himself into every group he could in order to get attention. My friends and I start talking about the wars in the Middle East, and how Iran is as guilty as the United States. Bad idea.jpg. Darian, remember he's Iranian, and his parents are friendly with the government, starts yelling at the tops of his lungs about how Iran is innocent and how Saudi Arabia and the US are to blame for the war. We try to calm him down. One of the teachers has to take him out of the building, and the teachers who were sitting by us give me the evil eye. I, admittedly, was adamant that Iran had at least some of the blame for the war. My face when we're not allowed to talk politics at lunch anymore for a month. My face when Darian gets off scot-free because his autism is worse than mine. Darian the Tard Part 3, Revenge of the ADHD. Junior year, again. Be in mandatory mindfulness/meditation class because half spud school. There's a tard named Chris in my class. Pretty normal, just didn't give a shit about school, so he always complained about the work. Chris complains.wave. Darian, having seen a form of protest, decides that it's obviously a good idea to cause a scene. He starts yelling about how dumb meditation is. Teach is unable to calm him down. He is escorted out. My face when he receives no punishment for disturbing the class. The epic tale of the tarded crackhead. It was 7th grade, and I got bullied a lot because I only had 1 or 2 friends. Kid moves to our school, and we call him N. Kid has a mom looking like a crackhead hooker with lung cancer. Dad is 7 foot tall, twitching and dazed like he is high. All happened at Parent Lunch Inn. A month later, N begins talking to me. He isn't retarded, just fucking stupid. N wants to be friends. I say, okay, whatever. I actually hated him, but whatever. He then thinks I'm making crackhead jokes about his family. He had no proof, so he then begins being a complete dick. I had to deal with N for a month before things hit a boiling point. I go to the bathroom, and on my way back, I get smashed in the back of the head. Mega nigger rage.jpg. I turn around and see N. N says, "What are you gonna do about it, pussy?" in a potato way. My fist hit the side of his face with the power of 1,000 potato slicers. Hits floor like the sack of potatoes he is. I walk in and ask to go to the office, as everyone saw it. I go up and tell them what happened, as they told me if anything like that happened to come up. Later, we are both in the office and they make it sound like I instigated. He got 2 days ILC for bitching at the principal. I got 1 day of ILC. Martyrdom.avi. ILC is where they put you into a small room with no windows and a stack of work if you get done with classwork. A week later, N is moved because, shocker, his crackhead family got arrested for, get this, using crack. Everyone commended me for beating the crack tard. Remains an epic tale to this day.